A big warm welcome to the Body Love Revolution online summit, building a better relationship with your body. Today, I have the incredible powerhouse, Jemma Haythorne. Jemma is a confidence coach on a mission to help women build unshakable confidence, break free from body shame, silence that inner critic, and make true love their default setting. Gemma's own journey of struggling with body image, food, and self doubt led her to find true freedom. And now she's dedicated to empowering others to do the same. Gemma teaches women how to take up space, love their bodies unapologetically, say yes to their dreams, and trust themselves fully. Whether she's coaching, speaking, or sharing wisdom on her podcast, Finding Freedom with Inspired Wellness, Jemma is a certified hype girl and the biggest advocate for lasting self-love. Get ready to be inspired, uplifted, and reminded of the power you hold from within. Welcome, Jemma.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, I was delighted you said yes to joining the summit. Jem and I have done podcasts. We've had a couple of conversations, and I love to watch Jem's creativity and her beautiful reels and her Instagram life because it's so wonderful, so real, and so raw. I really appreciate your work, Jem. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Right back at you.
So, Jem, let's dive in. One of the biggest misconceptions I see when it comes to body confidence is the belief that we need to change our bodies first before we can feel confident. What do you think is the biggest mistake most women make when trying to improve their body confidence?
I think it's exactly that. It's that we believe that we aren't good enough as we are, or that confidence isn't possible for us in our current bodies. So I know for myself, I spent about 16 years trying to change my body, believing that was the thing that would lead me to confidence, lead me to happiness, lead me to self-love. And this is what I see over and over in clients and on Instagram and everywhere. But in actual fact, that doesn't work because confidence, whether that's body confidence or confidence in general, it's not an external issue. It doesn't relate to our external. It's about what's going on inside us. So let's say, for example, you believe that, because this is the big one that I'm sure you come across too, Emma. We see it all the time. Women say, I need to lose weight, then I will become confident. And the thing is, a lot of the time, maybe that actually does happen, although statistics show that intentional weight loss doesn't work. But even if you do, for a lot of those women, we get to the point where we have reached our goal. And then it's like, yeah, there's a moment of confidence. Totally. I'm not going to say there's not. But then that doesn't last. It's almost like a moment of, yes, this is amazing. And then 5 minutes later, you're like, oh God, I'm not completely happy. My life isn't magically fixed. I am now not this super confident person who's ready to go and date, ready to go and put myself out there at work, ready to go and show up as this incredible, like happy, put myself out there kind of person. And that feels really hard when you realize that you've done all of this work and it's generally not very fun work and it actually doesn't turn out the way you thought it would. And then we feel like we're broken. There's something wrong with us. We feel the shame. We feel the self-loathing a lot of the time because we've put all this effort into something and it hasn't given us the result that we thought that we would.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The weight loss, although we feel like, and when you're saying then we think, yeah, if I lose the weight, then everything is going to be better. And in my early years, I would often say this or think this: when I'm skinny, I'm going to. And then
Mm,
I'd finish the sentence: when I'm skinny, I'm going to. When I'm skinny, I'm going to cut my hair shorter. When I'm skinny, I'm going to, all of these things that I would say to myself and say out loud
mm,
when we know that it's false economy and it's often, like you said, intentional weight loss because we've had to white knuckle it and deprive, and it's not been a pleasant journey. Well, I'm speaking from my
mm.
experience. Whenever I've intentionally lost weight, it's not been from a place that is rock solid. It's actually walking on a tightrope because any one moment I could slip and fall.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's challenging. Now, I would love for you to share because building this muscle of confidence, when we're talking about true confidence, you are actually personally on a journey this year in 2025
Yeah.
around building the muscle of confidence. So, yes, the weight loss or thinking we have to be in a smaller body before we're confident that is such a minuscule piece to the whole story.
Mm.
There's many other factors. So, Jim, can you share with us are you calling it what are you calling it? Look, I'm making up words here. The confidence challenge this year, or you're building this muscle. It's like a flex. I'm visualizing you flexing and doing lots of repetitions about confidence. And you and I just spoke before we hit record about not wanting to get it wrong. But can you share about this? I'm saying the confidence challenge, or flexing the confidence muscle this year. Talk us through
Yeah.
it.
I think flexing the confidence muscle is the perfect way to describe it. But what I'm doing is the get out of your comfort zone challenge. That's what I'm calling it,
That's it.
which basically every single week this year, I'm doing something that is outside my comfort zone. Now, I'm a confidence coach, so I've done so much work on confidence. I would consider myself a very confident person. But the thing about confidence is there is no end point. We're never like, there is no person in the world who is 100% confident about absolutely everything. So for me, I thought, well, for one thing, I want to walk. I don't want to be someone who just talks the talk. I want to walk the walk as well. So I really wanted to show people that one of the best ways we can build confidence is by getting out of our comfort zone. Now, I can talk about that till the cows come home, but if I'm just talking about it, you're not necessarily going to hear it. I think many of us probably have the experience where we hear something 27 times and on the 28th time we're like, oh my gosh, wow, yeah, that's true. So I wanted to show you how this works. So yeah, every week I've been doing something outside my comfort zone. Sometimes it's a little thing, sometimes it's a big thing. Some of them I plan, some of them have been spontaneous. So, for example, the very first one that I did was quite spontaneous. I decided I was going to do this challenge, but I hadn't planned it. And I am quite scared of, I love the ocean, but I'm quite scared of the ocean in a lot of ways as well. I'm scared of what's in the ocean. I'm scared of seaweed, even. I'm scared of shark. But I was swimming in the water at this beautiful beach in Tasmania, and a stingray went straight past me. And I went, oh my God, no, I'm getting out. I'm out. No, thank you. So, very confident person, not a very confident person around stingrays. So I got out and I was sitting on the beach and I thought to myself, Gemma, this is the perfect example of a time that you can do what you preach, practice what you preach. You talk about doing things that scare you. You talk about getting out of your comfort zone, get back in the water. And so I got back in the water, and I'm not going to say it was, and it was a perfect example of how this works. It wasn't fun. The whole time I was standing there like this, going, oh my gosh, is it going to come and get me? Am I going to get Steve Irwin, RIP? And I was so scared, but I did it. I stayed in for 5 minutes and I got out and I went, I did that. I did that. And then a few weeks later, someone suggested to me doing open water swimming as my confidence challenge. And I thought, oh, that's even scary because I won't swim where I can't see the bottom. I won't swim where I
Okay.
can't stand up. And I went open water swimming and I went way out in Tasmania. It was awful visibility. You couldn't see right underneath you. I swam through jellyfish. Yes, I know. And then I got back to the beach and I was swimming in, and the girl I was with went, so just so you know, there's a stingray just over there. And I looked over and there was a stingray and I went, oh, look how pretty. And this is the perfect example of how getting out of your comfort zone builds confidence. Because if I'd seen that stingray a few weeks before, like I did, I'd freak out. I'd go, I'm never going in the ocean again. I'm not coming back to this beach. But because I had flexed that confidence muscle, like you were saying, Em, I was able to see this stingray and go, okay, cool. That's a stingray. They're kind of cool, actually. I don't want it to touch me, but I'm okay with being around it. And so this is, yeah, what I'm doing every single week this year. I did a life drawing class, which was the thing that was out of my comfort zone, was doing something I was bad at. I have done things with strangers. I've gone on a bushwalk with a stranger. I organized to go to a pride event with a group of strangers. I'm getting a piercing this week. That's what I'm doing. And I fainted when I got my ears pierced the first time. So we're doing big things, we're doing little things, but this is just to show people that, for one thing, yeah, the work never ends. And I get a lot of the time people message me and go, oh, you're so confident. There must be nothing, like, you do all these things and I could never do that. But you could. It just takes practice. And there are many things, particularly to do with body, because body is the area I talk about so much. Yes, I'm very confident when it comes to body confidence. I've done a naked photo shoot in the middle of nature, kind of in public, basically, which to most people would be absolutely wild. But now to me, I'm like, I want to do that again. That was so much fun. But there are things in other areas of my life that I don't necessarily feel as confident about. So that's why I love doing this challenge to show you what steps can you take, whether it's to do with your body, whether it's to do with other areas of confidence, but do some little things that are out of your comfort zone, whether it's wearing, a sleeveless top instead of one with sleeves, whether it's wearing colors instead of black, whether it's wearing something that's more fitted instead of something that's, black and baggy. And yeah, we can all take these little steps, but the little steps add up to the huge changes.
They do, because it is exactly that. How do we build strength or get strong unless we keep flexing? Yeah. And, when you were just talking then, I was thinking about, and we're in different stages of life. You're in your early 30s. You're just 30, aren't you, Jem?
Yeah.
I'm 49, so I'm about to turn 50. So this feels quite momentous for me, about to turn, next birthday, February. We're both Aquariuses, crazy
Yeah.
cat Aquariuses. When I turn 50, like, it's a big thing. And the average woman in Australia lives to be 85 years of age. That's what the statistic is. So if I think of that, Jem, I think I've got 36 summers left if I'm
Mm,
the average woman. And, that in one way is like terrifying to think that I potentially have only got 36 summers left if I am the average woman
mm,
in Australia. So when I think about this, and we think about 52 weeks in a year, I'm really bad at maths. But if we think about even what you're doing, and this is the thing, I guess, we have one life, and we hear this, it's cliche, like you hear, you've heard it 100 times, but this is actually what it's all about. It's the small things that have you living a really fulfilled life. It's
yeah.
about, and is it about confidence? Yes, it is, because it's about bravery and pushing ourselves forward, but it is about living a big, beautiful, full life, whatever that means to you, whether it's a piercing, whether it is a naked live drawing, whether it is being naked photographed, but all these little things build the person you are. Or we can just live another year, same shit, different day, and stay in our postcode and not venture out past our postcode. And that's metaphorically as well, our postcode, our little world around us, as well as where we actually are. It doesn't mean, and these things, Jem, that you're doing are not necessarily costing you thousands of dollars and you're going to, Europe and having a God experience or whatever else. This is, although that would be nice and it could be
That would be
amazing.
lovely.
Yes. But it is just these small things. And even before we hit record, we were talking about Jem. For those who watch this, Jem is sporting this gorgeous top that I said to her, did you make that? Because Jem's hobby is sewing. And I was saying to her, that's what I feel like's missing in me is a hobby.
Mm,
And Jem was saying, well, is it because you don't like to be bad at things? And she gave the example just then about the live drawing. I said, yeah, I'm not a perfectionist, but I think I don't like to get things wrong.
mm,
And that's the other part of this confidence thing is, if I get it wrong, is that going to knock my confidence? If I get it wrong, what does that mean about me? It means nothing. Go and have a good time and
mm.
try some new experiences. And
Yeah.
yeah, and Jim, this makes you for a very interesting woman, even though you already are, because each week I'm looking to see what Jem's doing this week. What's her thing this week? Which is wonderful because it's inspiring. And someone has to go first in
Mm.
the deep water ocean swimming, which the thought of that terrifies me. but
And but I love it because exactly that, it does inspire other people to try. I got literally a message yesterday from someone who said, I just went open water swimming for the first time because you inspired me to do it. She said, and I was terrified. I was wanted to cry a little bit the whole time. She said, but I did it. And she said, I am on top of the world right now because I didn't think I could do that. And that's what it's about.
Yeah, because it's not an external thing. This is absolutely an internal thing. And we often hear about, be a better version than yourself. But really, the only competition we have is the person we were yesterday. I love a good PB, a personal best. It's about that, going, what is this personal best thing? And when it comes to our bodies, and particularly, we hear this narrative a lot, like we mentioned, which is, well, someday I'll do that when I'm here, or when I'm fitter, or when I'm this, or whatever the story is we tell ourselves. It's BS. Like, the
Mm.
moment's now. If you're sitting where I am at this 49 years age and thinking 36 more summers, get a wriggle on. And I'm saying this to myself right now, get a wriggle on, Em. This, you got some stuff to live, and it doesn't land on your doorstep. You actually have to go get it.
Yeah, and confidence, one of the biggest things about confidence, body confidence or otherwise, it comes from action. We cannot, it physically does not work. You cannot think your way to confidence. You cannot, and I'm a big fan of mindset work. You can't mindset your way to confidence. If you're just sitting there, and I have been very guilty of this in the past, I read every single book, listened to all the podcasts, attended wonderful things like this, but I didn't do anything. I didn't actually step out of my comfort zone. I didn't actually go and wear the thing or speak to the person or get back on the dating apps or whatever it was at the time. And so nothing changed. And I thought, okay, well, but I've got to wait till I'm confident, then I'll go and do those things. But it physically doesn't work. You do the things, and the confidence comes from that. You go on the date, even if you don't like your body right now and you're worried someone will judge you. You go on the date, and then you go, okay, the world didn't burn down. That was fine. No, I was going to say 9 times out of 10, the person's not going to judge you. It's more than that. It's like 99 times out of 100, the person isn't going to judge you. And even if they do, that's one little thing out of everything else. But most of the time, it's not going to happen. The worst case scenario that you're coming up with is because your brain is wired to look for the worst case scenarios. They're not actually going to eventuate. Most of the time, you're just going to walk away and be like, I did that. And then the next time you do that, it'll get easier and it'll get easier and it'll get easier. And then you'll go, oh, I'm confident. It happened.
Yes. And if you're listening to this and going, well, it's all good for you, Gemma and Emma, you two, you're both confident women, you have podcasts, you lead people, you just are naturally like that. I get that. But that's why there are people like Gemma and I, because if you love to have a coach, both of us one-on-one coach, and we've both had this experience where we actually hold people accountable. And I
Mm,
think that's what I love about coaching too, whether it be in a group coaching is powerful. You and I both do group coaching because the collective energy and the collective confidence raises exponentially in a group. It's palpable, the energy, isn't it, Jem, when you are
100%.
working through this with women? But if that also feels a little bit too much, maybe one-on-one coaching is good. But that's what I love about coaching. And you and I both are big believers in personal development. But like you said, Jem, you can't mindset yourself there. It's got to be a bit of both. So it's got to be the mindset stuff and the action and the whole gamut and the accountability thing. Yeah.
Mm,
It's kind of,
yeah.
I think about coaching, I go, it's really when people come to us, they get clarity. What do they want? Then they get momentum
Mm,
without a doubt. And then the third bit is they take action.
yes.
Like
And I
kind
love,
of,
yeah, you just kind of perfectly summarized. I've got a new program coming up and I've got 3 stages of it. And you basically just summed it up for me. Like we've got embrace for me, which is about like doing that deep, dark, gnarly work because that's a bit that I think often gets missed in confidence. We set our foundations. We go into the empower stage, which is about the mindset work, the thinking, the belief work, the inner child stuff, the subconscious stuff. And then we go into embody, which is the doing, the taking action. And I really think those are the 3 areas that we need to be covering if we want to be truly confident in our bodies and in ourselves. So I love that you just perfectly summed up my course. Clearly, I'm on the right track.
yes, you are, Jim. You are on the right track. So for our women listening, if that's where you feel like you need to be going, definitely check out Gem. And at the end of the podcast, at the end of the summit,
Good.
excuse me, I'll share all Gem stuff. But this is exactly right because it does take a bit of courage to take steps.
Mm,
It does. And that's
yeah.
why we do the work we do and we have the success we do with our clients because they're on board. And then the momentum happens and then action happens, which is beautiful. So,
Yeah.
Jem, I did want you to share a little bit about uh, a little bit about, sorry, I'll say that again. Jem, I'd love for you to share for women watching today who want to start feeling more confident in their skin, what are some practical steps they can take to build that body confidence? I know we've shared a little bit on it, but if you were just to succinctly put that into words, what would you say to our women?
Yeah, I'm going to come back to the comfort zone thing. So practice getting out of your comfort zone. Now, you don't have to go and do big things outside your comfort zone. So little tiny steps you can take. So I'm going to use the example of, let's say this is a very common one. People want to be able to wear a bikini to the beach. So step one, I would say, is buy a bikini, but don't go straight to wearing it at the beach because right now that might make your heart go like this. That might make you feel sick. That might make you feel really scared. Wear it at home. Put it on at home, even when there's nobody else around. If your partner's out, kids aren't there, pop it on at home and just exist in it. Not just putting it on and standing in front of the mirror, but like do your housework in it, do your vacuuming in it, something like that. Get used to moving in it. Because I think that, particularly when we're trying on clothes or trying on bikinis, you're at the shop and you stand still and you look at yourself from one angle, but getting used to feeling your body moving in it can be really helpful. Once you're comfortable wearing it around home and you're like, yep, okay, I'm pretty good with this, maybe you wear it to your best friend's pool, like someone that you feel really safe with, someone you feel really comfortable with, wearing it somewhere like that in an environment that feels safe and feels comfortable for you. Once you're comfortable with that, maybe you go and you wear it to the beach, but you wear like a cover up over the top and you only take the cover up off when you go swimming. Do you see how we're like incrementally getting out of the comfort zone? And then eventually you can wear it at the beach. Maybe I know for myself, I used to be comfortable in a bikini if I was lying down because I thought that was the most like flattering angle, but I wouldn't be sitting on the beach on my towel, like reading my book sitting up or eating at the beach or anything like that in a bikini. So maybe then that's the final stage where you've defeated the final boss and you're like, I'm good now. I can do this. So like take your goal and break it down. If it feels too big and scary to jump to that thing that's out of your comfort zone, see like how can I take this down into tiny little steps? Because the baby steps are the things that add up to the biggest change.
I like that, Jem. Great tip.
Mm.
Great tip. Jem and I just laughed because I just quickly muted myself while I did a big sneeze. Someone's mowing their lawns out there. I'm getting little wafts of grass.
Oh,
My hay
lovely.
fever. My hay fever. So, Jem, I love that. That is beautiful. That just those little incremental steps just to try it on. Because you're right. We tend to go from bang to the big kahuna and don't actually take a little bit of time to integrate
Mm.
this new goal and actually sit in it. And two, I'm going to also say in Tasmania too, where you live in the most beautiful place, because people are often covered up in clothes for such a long time, to get your skin back out again is quite big. To go, oh my God, now I'm back in my skin again,
Yeah.
particularly if you live in a colder climate. I mean, here on the Gold Coast, it is very normal for us to go to Coles and see someone in a bikini doing their shopping. But I know in some other places where it is colder, because I know that is a couple of comments that my cousin has made when she comes. She goes, "Oh, there's so much skin here on the Gold
Mm.
Coast." We're kind of a little bit more acclimatized to it. But if you are in a colder climate where there's a constant weather, that's another step I think about actually showing our skin and our body, and that body confidence again is having to be rebuilt, but well worth it. Thank
Totally.
you. Thank you, Jem. I really like that tip. Can we shift gears and talk about shame? Because I know that you do lots of beautiful work around the shame and this very heavy emotion. So shame is a heavy emotion when it comes to body image. And I know you talk about how unpacking shame is the key to building unshakable confidence. Can you share more about how shame impacts our relationship with our bodies and why we can't cultivate true confidence without addressing it?
Yes, we can. And this is where I like briefly said before about the gnarly work. Shame is a huge part of the gnarly work. So, the biggest thing to understand about shame is that, and confidence, the relationship between the two of them. We can build confidence, we can do all of the mindset work in the world, we can take the action, we can do the things. But if you have got shame underneath that, particularly shame around your body, it's not going to really last. It's not going to be unshakable. And when I say unshakable, that's a word I use a lot about body confidence. It doesn't mean that you never have a bad body image day or a bad body image moment, but it's like it's like shaking a tree. You can shake the tree and the tree's like, okay, I'll move a little bit, but I'm still coming back to solid. I am rock solid. And when we're talking about shame, shame it's like when you're building a house, right? I say this like I've built so many houses. If you go and you build your house of body confidence in like a muddy area, that is what it is when you don't do the shame work because it means your foundation is going to be wet. It's going to be sticky and it can sink. Your house, your confidence that you have built can sink, can be undone. Whereas when we do the shame work in the beginning, right at the start, do the shame work, it's like pouring the foundations and we've got solid concrete foundations. So the house isn't going to sink. Things are going to come along and happen, but your house is going to be solid. So when I say doing the shame work, first the thing it's about recognizing it because I think a lot of women, and I know that I used to be like this too, we don't necessarily recognize that there's shame there. We might not have the language to say, yes, what I'm feeling is shame. We might say something like, I feel crappy about myself. That's the eloquent language that I used to use.
Mm.
Or I'm disgusted at myself, or any of these kind of things. But if you think about, when I think about shame, it's what you don't want other people to see. It's where you'll do anything to go to the lengths to hide. So whether that, and shame comes up a lot around food, shame comes up around the way our bodies look. How many of you watching don't like to look at your, like maybe get dressed with the lights off? Or maybe when you're with your partner, you turn the lights off because you don't want them to see you. When you get out of the shower, you avoid the mirror and you're like, no, thank you, don't want to see that in the mirror. That's shame. Shame is hidden. You're hiding it away. You don't want people to see it, and often you don't want yourself to see it. So when we do the work on shame, we clear that shame. It creates space for self-compassion, and then that gives us that solid foundation to be able to do the confidence work on top of that.
Yeah, I love that because it is the shame. And I love how you said, because not a lot of us would probably use the word shame, but that is actually the emotion. We
Mm.
will use those other words. And when you were talking through that, I absolutely identified with that. I would use other words, and it would be a feeling too, a heavy feeling about not being, yeah, like what come up for me was like I'm fat and ugly, but what's
Mm.
under that is shame. So now I'm not respectable enough to be seen, or I don't belong in this room, or I don't belong having a seat at this table, because
Mm.
and the first thing I would assess is I'm the biggest woman here, and people are probably thinking, look how fat and ugly she is. Like
Mm.
all this crazy stuff comes from shame. And then there's a shame in that which has you retract and just thinks you just not. And I don't want to say good enough. It's not even good enough for me when I'm thinking through this. It's just you're just not respectable enough, or you're just not, I don't know, it's layers deep, but that's the
Yeah.
work. That's the
Yeah.
work. It's many layers deep, and we use different words, but I agree in this body confidence journey, and this journey to, I like to say, return back home into the heart and calm this beautiful nervous system. There's a part of us that has to just have a little look at these things. And that's what I love about group coaching and coaching is when it's up and out and said, and you hear other people, it lessens its power.
Mm.
There's a part of it that just the power of it when we keep it inside, it has a lot of power over us. So I love it when it comes up and out and gets freed out of us, which it needs to be spoken as women. We work with women, and I'm sure it's for men too, or I'm not sure about men. Actually, I know about women. There's power in that, just that sharing and that sisterhood,
Mm.
and setting it free. I love that, Gem. So that's great. So that's part of your program, is the gnarly work. I love it.
The gnarly work. That's the way I put it.
Yeah, because it is. So, diet culture has been ingrained in us as the idea that controlling or restricting food is the key to feeling better about ourselves. But you and I both know that food freedom and intuitive eating fosters a much healthier relationship with our bodies. Why is this approach so transformative? And how can we, as women, start shifting our mindset around food? What's your thoughts, Em? Because I know food freedom and diet. I love in your podcast at the start when you say burning diet culture to the ground. I just love that statement. I often think about it. So, Jim, tell me about, and I know that you've had a personal journey in this, and food freedom is part of your ethos. Can you share a little bit more about why is our approach so transformative, and how can women start shifting their mindset around food?
So yes, I very much had my own experience with this, which is why I do this work, basically, because I don't want anyone else to have to deal with what I did. But I really think that as a society, and I'm an optimist, so I feel like maybe we're getting a bit better. But as a society, we have been taking the total wrong approach to food for so long. We have had foods demonized as good foods, bad foods. There are things that we get told we should never eat. The amount of influencers who are like, sugar is poison, that type of thing, that is not helpful. And all this does, that's a big part of diet culture, is takes us, for one thing, away from trusting our bodies because we're told to not trust what our bodies want. We're told to trust this meal plan or this diet or these things that we should be eating. So it breaks that trust with our body, for one thing. Really, it's very hard to feel at home in your body, like you said, if you don't trust your body, Confidence is also self-trust and self-belief. So you can't have confidence if you don't trust yourself. But when we try, like paradoxically, when we try and control our food, it makes us feel more out of control. So that
Yeah.
was very much what I dealt with for very many years of my life. I thought I needed to be controlled, but then I would be constantly craving pizza or I'd be constantly craving chocolate or those types of things. So what I thought was, okay, well, there's something going on in my brain, something going on in my body. I'm not wired for health. I am wired for overeating until I cannot physically move. But the thing is, that's not actually true. And if you're listening to this, if you're watching this and you're thinking the same thing, you're like, but I just can't be trusted around food because if you pop a block of dairy milk in front of me, I'm going to eat the whole thing. The reason why you feel that way is because you have been controlling yourself. So I like to think of our brains as almost like a little 3-year-old toddler. You know, you tell a toddler, no, you can't do something or no, you can't have something. And they're like, well, now that's all I want to do. That's it. That's what your brain is like when it comes to food. When you tell yourself that you can't have something, it makes you want it more. And I won't go fully into this or we'll be here all day, but there are so many reasons for that. But basically, what happens is you go on a diet or a lifestyle change, or you just try and be good, whatever terminology you want to use, it's all the same.
Yeah.
Your brain sees that food is being taken away. And it's like back in the caveman days when food was being taken away, it was like, this is a bad situation. When will we get food again? Your brain hasn't evolved enough to know that actually there's just food in the pantry over there. I could go and eat it if I wanted to. Your brain goes, she's taking food away. Oh no. Oh my gosh, let's go into panic mode. We're going to ramp up her cravings. We're going to make her look for them more. And it doesn't get you to crave kale or broccoli because those aren't energy dense foods. So it thinks we need as much energy as possible. And what is energy? Calories. A calorie is a unit of energy. So it's going to make you crave a Big Mac because that's got a lot more calories in it. And then your basically, yeah, your cravings are going to ramp up. You're going to keep wanting it. And it turns into this whole vicious cycle. So what happens is when we do intuitive eating, basic on food freedom, we have permission to eat whenever we want. We have permission to eat whatever we want. And I think a lot of people think that that means that we will eat whatever we want whenever we want, and that's going to be never eat a, green vegetable ever again. But it's not the case because once you kind of heal your relationship with food, your body actually wants to be nourished. Your body actually wants nutritious foods. Your body doesn't want pizza every single day. Pizza's great. We want pizza occasionally, but we don't want it every single day. Your body wants salads. Like, for example, today I'm having a kale salad for lunch and I am so excited about it. I would much rather have that than pizza. Yet back in the day, I used to have Domino's every single day. I used to binge on Oreo cookies hiding in the bathroom at work. I used to eat chocolate for breakfast. Back when I was trying to be good, that is what my body called out for. But now that I don't believe there is good and bad, now that I have the permission to eat whatever I want whenever I want, my body goes, okay, we're safe now. I trust you now. So I'm going to give you the signals of the things that I actually need, and then I'm going to nourish my body with those things. So I genuinely want to eat vegetables. And this is not, again, kind of like what you were saying before, and where people say, it's easy for you. You like those things. I used to, for 25 years of my life, hated anything green. Didn't like vegetables. I liked potato, and that was about it. I didn't want to eat veggies. But that's because I was in that space. Once you come out of it, your body does like things. And it's a process. I'm not saying it's as simple as, allow yourself to eat all foods and instantly everything is fixed. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work as easily as that, but there are the steps that you can take working on intuitive eating, learning about intuitive eating, and doing it in a way that makes you feel safe too. Because particularly if we do go down the route, which is actually what I did, and it made my journey a lot longer than I needed to. I went, okay, I'm allowed to eat all foods. And therefore I did eat all foods and went a bit ham on things. And my nervous system hated it. I was so dysregulated. It was awful because it just felt so unsafe. So creating safety for ourselves is really important. Establishing a kind of good baseline for what you're eating, how often you're eating, and then starting to allow fear foods in can be a really great place to start. So if right now you tell yourself you can never eat chocolate, I'll give you one of my tips, I suppose, that is one of my favorites. And this sounds really scary to a lot of people, but create a bit of safety before you do this one, but I was obsessed with chocolate. I could easily eat 2 blocks of chocolate in a sitting every single day. So what I did was I bought 10 or 15, sorry, blocks of chocolate. And I put 5 blocks of chocolate in my pantry, 5 blocks of chocolate in my car, and 5 blocks of chocolate in my drawer at work. And that was showing my brain, showing my body that I am safe around chocolate. Chocolate's not going anywhere. I'm allowed to eat chocolate whenever I want to eat chocolate. And then that was it. You do eat chocolate whenever you want it. So in the beginning, yeah, first couple of days, I probably did eat 2 blocks of chocolate a day. But the key is as soon as you've eaten those, you replenish it. You go to the shops again, and yes, it can be expensive at first, especially
Yeah.
if you're anything like me, but replenish it to show your brain, show your body. And then eventually it's like, I actually don't need to eat this all of the time. I don't want to eat this all the time. It doesn't make me feel great. And your body and your brain learn that you can be trusted and you realize you actually don't need it all of the time. So having it easily accessible is a great way to show your body that you actually are allowed. It's real permission, not I'm allowed to eat whatever I want whenever I want, but if I eat more than a block of chocolate, then it's going to be taken away again.
Yeah.
So that's one of
Yeah.
my favorite tips to kind of get into this sort of stuff.
Yeah, what a great experiment to do around the safety. And it really is. I know, Jem, for the last couple of years, I feel like I'm in diet recovery
Mm,
and all these little rules. So it's a great way to, yeah, show yourself that you are safe and build that self-trust and build and have an experience and actually be a conscious experience around it, like
mm,
being really conscious. Because I even know, and I did like a little snippet on this the other week, but I've had a focus on more protein because I know protein feels really good for me. I feel satisfied and I like protein. I love salmon. So that's been a real focus of mine, just to be really conscious about what nourishes me to get through a day and to have the brain power, the brain function. So I was making myself, and it's funny how these little rules and these things creep in at the most weirdest times. And I was making myself a salad and chicken wrap, really simple, very basic. And I thought to myself, oh, maybe I'll put some cheese on this as well. And old Emma, Diet Emma, Weight Watchers Emma, I knew where it come from, said, oh no, that's enough. You don't need any more. And then I went, so new Emma now went, hang on a moment. No, our focus is on protein. But as I sat with it, I remembered an old Weight Watcher rule. And at one time, cheese was the devil and it had high points. So it was around the points counting thing. But it was funny how still now, probably 20 years later, the residue of that is still driving me when I'm choosing food,
mm,
that it's uncovering these rules that you put in, and it is tied to shame as well, because this shameful behavior that you might have done, or you perceive, excuse me, as shameful, these little things start uncovering. And I actually think, like, I'm a recovering dieter,
mm.
and I find it fascinating when one of these things will come up. So I did put the cheese on and went, yeah, yay, protein is good. This is protein is good. You are safe. This is a great meal. You're going to feel satisfied. But I often have times where I have to talk myself off the ledge.
Totally. And it's so normal, I think. And then you'll be listening to that, us just talking about that, and you go, I know that's a rule for myself. I know that's a rule. But there will be rules that you don't even realize you've got. And years later, I had one similar last year. I was training for a half marathon and I got my friend who's a PT and a nutritionist just to help me out with fueling for such a long run. And she said to me, oh, you've got to make sure you're eating before all of your runs. She goes, you eat before exercise now. And I went, no, I don't eat. I go to Pilates without eating. I go to the gym without eating. Like I don't eat before I exercise. And I went, oh no, it doesn't sit right in my tummy. And she went, is that true? Because she knew me back in my dieting days. And I went, yeah, no, it doesn't make me feel good. And she went, okay, we'll just try it. Like, see how you feel. She goes, if it doesn't make you feel good, no problem. We'll look at something else, but just give it a go. And I remember I called her and I went, I just went for a run after having some toast and honey, and I felt fantastic. I had so much energy. It was amazing. And she went, yeah, yep, that's what it does. And I thought about it and I went, I have just still had the rule that training fasted used to be the thing back in the day.
Yeah.
And I was still doing it without even realizing that that was actually not right for my body. So it still comes up for me. And I've been
Yeah.
doing this for years, and this is literally what I do day to day with clients. But
Yeah.
Some of them are sneaky, some of them are obvious, and it's
Yeah.
kind of fun, I think, in a way, like you said, when you notice them and you can start challenging them, and it's these beautiful pieces of evidence of how far you've come down the track. So if you're just starting with this, you've got that to look forward to, and like celebrate every little win, every time you break a rule, and you exactly that talk to yourself like Em did, being like, yeah, this is nourishing my body. It feels really good because that's reinforcing to your brain that this is safe and this is what you should be doing in a good way. Like it makes you feel incredible.
Yeah. The other aha moment I've had too, Jem, on this whole summit and things about and just conversations that I've had is around the importance, and it probably leans into this, is dieting for so many years and ignoring my appetite. Like just not even tuning into appetite. And there's a couple of ladies on the summit that talk to this, one in a really spiritual way about your appetite for life. And if even
Mm.
we think about this beautiful confidence challenge that you're going through, you're getting out of your comfort zone challenge, it's an appetite for life. It's an appetite for yes. And when we've done years of dieting and restriction and pulling back, our appetite for things, even I was talking to a client the other week and she said how many times that she would just go to bed when she was hungry. Like she'd get to nighttime and she would be in bed at 7:30 at night. Yeah, sure, sleep's great, but purely because she was hungry, go to bed.
Yeah.
And exactly that example of appetite, is it true that you don't want to fuel before you exercise? It's a rule there, but what's my appetite actually saying?
Yeah.
Because for so many years we have, and another client said to me, her strategy was, it wasn't the going to bed. She was like, I just down like 2 liters of water.
Mm.
Like, all of these things, when appetite is such a beautiful guiding light in our body. But
Mm.
for so many years, we have not allowed our appetite to even have a say.
Yeah. And
Like
it disappears
it
because keep
disappears.
you keep denying it by doing those things and being there to both of those. And your appetite, your body keeps going, hello, I'm hungry, give me some food. And you go, no. Hello, I'm hungry, give me some food. No. And eventually your body goes, okay, well, I'll just stop giving you signals. So
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Many people go, well, I don't have correct hunger and fullness cues. So you
yeah,
have to be able to rebuild those as well. That's another thing before you can really dive into the intuitive eating, because if you don't have those tools or those signals in your body, that's totally normal. If you've been
yeah,
dieting for
yes,
years, that's what happens.
yeah.
So
And
it's
it's
about
nervous.
rebuilding the trust.
Yeah, and it's nervous system stuff too, which is rebuilding the trust. Because if your nervous system is in fight, flight, freeze, fawn, you actually don't have an appetite. So it's
Mm.
another cue saying that I'm not safe. These are the things, these are the beautiful things that are there for us to uncover and look at. So to all of our beautiful ladies listening, I hope this has been sparked some joy in you and thinking about, Jemma, you are, like I said, such a shining light, and I now have hobby envy and I have comfort zone envy. And I feel like now, my 49th year with 36 summers potentially left, I've got some shit to do. I've got some experiences and some joy and some fabulousness to invite into my life. So all of our beautiful women, no matter what your age is, whether or not you've, like me, and got 36 summers left. I sound so depressing, don't I? I've got 36 summers left. Like, I'm so depressive. But it's just a lovely little wake up call to go, do you know what? This is my beautiful life. And it's okay to leave my postcode. It's okay to leave behind our body shame. It's wonderful to explore and stretch myself. And like Jem's doing, flexing her confidence muscle in all of these beautiful things. It's just wonderful, Jem. So,
Yeah.
Jem, where can our beautiful ladies find you? And what have you got coming up?
Yeah, best place to find me would be Instagram. I'm inspire___ wellness. Come and chat to me. Come and send me your suggestions for things that I should do out of my comfort zone, actually,
Oh,
because
yes,
I've got to
do.
come up with 52 of them. So
Yeah.
come and
Great.
challenge me and I'll do it.
And share them with me, because you might need to set the challenge for me too. So it's got to be a message to Gemma and Emma. Thanks.
Yeah, let's challenge both of us, please.
Yeah, please. Oh God, what have I just signed up for?
Yeah, I was going to say you've got yourself into deep water here, Em.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, but yeah, Instagram is the best place to find me. I love having a chat. But if you want to hear more of me yapping on, I've got my own podcast, Finding Freedom with Inspire Wellness. You will find an episode with Emma, so make sure you scroll back and listen to that one as well. they're the best kind of probably two places to listen to me. But I have got some exciting new things coming up when this summit is released. I hopefully, fingers crossed, will be quite close to launching a brand new program, which really dives really deep into everything we've been speaking about today, including all of that gnarly stuff. And I'm just very excited. So you can come and have a look at my Instagram or send me a message, and I will give you the link to join the waitlist for that so you can be first to hear when it comes out. I've also got one-on-one coaching as well, like Emma mentioned. I that is open continuously unless my books are full, and we can work on all of those kinds of things together. So I would love to hear from everyone. Just yeah, come and chat to me and we can see what's right for you.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Jem. Yes, definitely follow on with Jem's and the suggestions. Follow on with Jem's journey this year. Jem, as always, you're an absolute pleasure to chat with. I just adore you. I love your messaging. I love the work you do for women. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for being such a voice in this space. You are a pretty incredible woman. Thank you, Jem.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you for having me and letting me come and chat about all these things with you today. I so appreciate it.
Thanks, Jem.